What if I told you that the biggest difference between rich people and poor people is not intelligence, is not education, and is not even income? Then what is it? Why do two people with the same salary end up living completely different lives? Why does one person build wealth while the other struggles for years? Why do some people become richer after a crisis while others lose everything? And why do smart people make terrible money decisions every day? The answer may surprise you. Because money is not just about numbers. Money is about behavior. Money is about emotions. Money is about psychology. Today, we are going to explore some of the most powerful lessons from the best-selling book, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And by the end of this video, you may never think about money the same way again. Curiosity, but before we begin, let me ask you one question. If two people earn exactly the same salary, why does one become financially free while the other remains trapped in financial stress? The answer has nothing to do with how much they earn. It has everything to do with how they think. And one simple story will help us understand why. Let's begin. Let me tell you a simple story. A story about two friends, Daniel and Michael. Both worked at the same company, both had similar jobs, both earned almost the same salary, and both dreamed of a better future. At first, their lives looked almost identical. Every morning, they went to work together. Every month, they received their salaries together. And every year, their income increased little by little. But there was one difference, a difference so small that nobody noticed it. Daniel loved spending money the moment his salary arrived. He started looking for things to buy, a new phone, a new watch, new clothes, or the latest gadget everyone was talking about. Buying new things made him feel successful. It made him feel important. For a few days, he felt happy. Then the excitement disappeared, and he started looking for the next thing to buy. Michael was different. He enjoyed life too, but he looked at money differently. Before spending, he asked himself a simple question. Do I really need this? Most of the time, the answer was no. So instead of spending everything, he saved a small portion of his income every month. It was not a huge amount. Sometimes it felt insignificant. But he kept doing it, month after month, year after year. Many people thought Michael was missing out on life. They believed Daniel was enjoying life more. After all, Daniel had better things, better gadgets, and a more impressive lifestyle. But appearances can be deceiving, because something was happening beneath the surface. Something neither of them could see. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, their futures were moving in completely different directions. And then, one unexpected event changed everything. An event that would reveal who truly understood money, and who only thought they did. But before we continue the story, there is one powerful lesson you must understand. The lesson of luck and risk. Compounding is the closest thing to magic. Let me ask you a question. What if I offered you two choices? The first choice, I gave you a large amount of money today. The second choice, I give you a small amount, but it doubles again and again over time. Most people would choose the first option. Because our minds are trained to value immediate rewards. We want results now. We want success now. We want wealth now. But money does not always work that way. Some of the greatest fortunes in history were not built overnight. They were built slowly, patiently, and consistently. This is the power of compounding. And, according to Morgan Housel, it is one of the most important concepts in money. The strange thing about compounding is that it looks boring in the beginning. Imagine planting a tiny seed. On the first day, nothing happens. After a week, nothing impressive happens. After a month, it still seems small. Many people become impatient. They assume the seed is useless, so they stop watering it. But the person who remains patient eventually sees something incredible. The small seed becomes a strong tree. Money behaves the same way. The first few years often look slow. Your savings seem small, your investments seem insignificant, your progress feels invisible. And that is exactly why most people quit too early. They judge success by short-term results instead of long-term growth. Imagine two friends. Both start saving money at the age of 25. The first friend saves consistently every month. The second friend keeps waiting for the perfect time. 5 years pass. 10 years pass. 15 years pass. The first friend keeps moving forward. Slowly, patiently, the second friend keeps delaying action. One day, they both look back, and the difference is enormous. Not because one person was smarter, not because one person earned more, because one person understood compounding, and the other did not. This lesson applies to more than money. Think about health. A single workout changes very little, but years of exercise transform a body. Think about learning. Reading one page changes very little, but reading consistently for years can transform a life. Think about relationships. One kind act seems small, but thousands of kind acts build trust and love. Compounding works everywhere. The problem is that humans love instant results. We admire sudden success, we celebrate overnight victories, but we rarely see the years of patience behind them. When people see a wealthy investor, they often assume he was lucky. What they do not see are the decades of consistent decisions, the years of patience, the years of discipline, the years of allowing compounding to do its work. Morgan Housel explains that many of the world's most successful investors became wealthy not because they earned extraordinary returns, but because they stayed invested for an extraordinarily long time. That is a powerful lesson. Sometimes success is not about doing something amazing. Sometimes success is about avoiding mistakes. Staying patient and giving time a chance to work in your favor. Let me ask you another question. Why do so many people fail with money, even after learning about compounding? Because knowledge is easy, patience is difficult. People become excited for a few months, then they get distracted. They stop saving, they stop investing, they chase quick profits, and in doing so, they destroy the very process that creates wealth. Compounding rewards patience. It punishes impatience. That is why small, consistent actions are often more powerful than big occasional actions. Saving a little every month may not feel exciting, but over time, it can completely change your future. The same principle applies to your habits, your knowledge, your skills, and your relationships. Small improvements repeated consistently create extraordinary results. Remember this. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year and underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. That is the magic of compounding. It starts slowly, almost invisibly. Then, one day, the results become impossible to ignore. So the next time you feel discouraged by slow progress, remember the seed, remember the tree, and remember that wealth is not always built through dramatic actions. Often it is built through small decisions repeated for a very long time. Because in the world of money, time is not just important, time is the most powerful asset of all. The greatest rewards belong to those who are willing to wait. Point 3. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Most people spend their lives trying to become wealthy. Very few people spend time learning how to stay wealthy, and that is a big mistake. Making money and keeping money require different skills. To become wealthy, you often need ambition, hard work, risk-taking, and confidence. But to stay wealthy, you need patience, discipline, humility, and self-control. History is full of people who made a lot of money. Athletes, businessmen, celebrities, investors, many earned millions. Yet, years later, they lost everything. Why did this happen? Because earning money is only half the battle. Protecting it is the other half. One of the biggest dangers is lifestyle inflation. This happens when your spending grows every time your income grows. Imagine someone earning PKR $50,000 per month. They live a simple life. Then their income increases to PKR $100,000. Instead of saving the extra money, they buy more expensive things, a bigger phone, more expensive clothes, a better car. Soon, their expenses increase too. Now they are earning more, but they do not feel richer. Then their income rises again, and once again, their spending rises with it. They become trapped in a cycle. More income, more spending, more pressure. Many people call this success, but real wealth works differently. Wealth is not what people see. Wealth is the money you do not spend. It is the savings account nobody talks about. It is the investments nobody notices. It is the financial security hidden behind the scenes. Morgan Housel explains that survival is one of the most important financial skills, because if you stay in the game long enough, opportunities will come. But if you lose everything, you cannot benefit from future opportunities. That is why protecting your wealth matters. The goal is not just to make money. The goal is to make money. Keep money and allow that money to grow over time. Remember this lesson. Getting wealthy requires skill. Staying wealthy requires discipline. And in the long run, discipline often matters more than talent. Point 4, the value of the long tail. Let me ask you a question. What if I told you that most of your success may come from just a few decisions? Sounds strange, but it is true. Many people believe every investment must be a winner, every business idea must succeed, and every financial decision must produce big results. But that is not how the real world works. In reality, most investments produce average returns. Some produce losses, and only a few create extraordinary results. Yet those few winners can completely change your financial future. Think about successful companies. Not every product they launch becomes successful. Many fail. Some perform normally. But one great product can generate billions. The same thing happens with investing. A few investments often create most of the profits. This is why successful investors do not expect perfection. They understand that losses are a part of the journey. They stay patient, and they stay diversified. Many people quit after one mistake. They lose money once, then decide investing is not for them. But wealthy people think differently. They know that one setback does not determine the final result. They focus on the bigger picture. Morgan Housel explains that a small number of events often account for the majority of outcomes. This is known as the long tail. A few exceptional opportunities can make up for many average ones. The lesson is simple. Do not expect every decision to be perfect. Do not panic because of small failures. Stay consistent, stay patient, and give yourself enough opportunities for success to appear. Remember, you do not need to be right every time. Sometimes one great decision can outweigh dozens of ordinary ones. That is the power of the long tail. Point 5, the man in the car paradox. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen someone driving a luxury car and immediately thought, wow, that person must be successful? Most people do. We naturally admire expensive things. Luxury cars, designer clothes, expensive watches, large houses. These things often look like symbols of success. But Morgan Housel shares a fascinating idea. When people see a luxury car, they are usually not admiring the driver. They are imagining themselves in the car. Think about it. When you see a beautiful sports car, do you spend time thinking about the owner's intelligence, their personality, or their achievements? Probably not. Instead, you imagine how you would feel driving that car. That is the paradox. People buy expensive things hoping to gain admiration, but the admiration is usually directed toward the object, not the owner. This creates a dangerous financial trap. Many people spend money to impress others. They buy things they cannot comfortably afford. They take loans. They increase their expenses, all for approval that rarely lasts. The truth is, most people are too busy thinking about their own lives to spend much time judging yours. Real respect is not built through possessions. It is built through character. Kindness, honesty, humility, and the way you treat people. A luxury watch might attract attention for a few seconds. A good character can earn respect for a lifetime. This does not mean buying nice things is wrong. If something genuinely brings value or happiness to your life, there is nothing wrong with enjoying it. The problem begins when purchases are made only to impress others, because there will always be someone with a bigger house, a newer car, or a more expensive watch. The race never ends. That is why financially successful people often focus on freedom rather than appearances. They would rather have peace of mind than constant pressure. They would rather have savings than status. And they would rather build wealth quietly than display it loudly. Remember this: people admire what you own for a moment, but they respect who you are for a lifetime. True wealth is not about looking rich. True wealth is about having the freedom to live life on your own terms. Point 6, save like a pessimist, invest like an optimist. Let me ask you a question. What kind of person are you? An optimist or a pessimist? Most people think you must choose one. But Morgan Housel says the most successful people combine both. They save like pessimists and invest like optimists. What does that mean? It means believing that difficult times can happen, while also believing that the future can be better. Think about life. Nobody knows what tomorrow will bring. A job loss, a financial crisis, a medical emergency, or an unexpected expense. These things happen to people every day. That is why saving money is important, not because you are afraid, but because you are prepared. Savings create a safety net. They give you time, they give you options, and they give you peace of mind. Imagine two people facing the same emergency. The first person has no savings. The second person has saved money for years. Who will feel calmer? Who will have more choices? The answer is obvious. Preparation reduces panic. But saving alone is not enough. If you only save, your money may not grow enough to build long-term wealth. That is where optimism comes in. Optimists believe that despite challenges, the world continues to improve, businesses grow, technology advances, and opportunities appear. That is why they invest. They understand that the future is uncertain, but they also believe progress is possible. The key is balance. If you are only optimistic, you may take unnecessary risks. If you are only pessimistic, you may miss valuable opportunities. The goal is to prepare for problems while still believing in growth. This mindset helps people survive difficult times and benefit from good times. Michael understood this lesson well. He saved money for emergencies, but he also invested in his future. When difficult times arrived, his savings protected him. When new opportunities appeared, his investments helped him grow. That is why financial success is not about predicting the future. It is about being ready for whatever the future brings. Remember this: save like a pessimist, invest like an optimist, because the future belongs to people who prepare for storms, while still believing in sunshine. Emotional ending in the end. Money is not just about bank accounts. Money is not just about numbers. Money is about behavior. Money is about habits. And most importantly, money is about mindset. The people who build lasting wealth are not always the smartest, and they are not always the highest earners. They are the people who stay patient, control their emotions, save consistently, and make wise decisions over time. Do not focus only on earning more money. Focus on improving the way you think about money, because when your mindset changes, your decisions change, and when your decisions change, your future changes. The psychology of money teaches us one simple truth. True wealth is not about looking rich. True wealth is having the freedom to live life on your own terms. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Learn with Talha, and tell me in the comments.